Welcome to the fourth day of the Optimist World Championship in Portorož, Slovenia. Today there will be no individual sailing. Instead, we're watching the Team World Championships first match of the day. We've had a bit of a problem, as you've seen, with the wind. Not really getting us anywhere with this, but now it has picked up and we can start and let the games begin, basically.
Yeah, we're finally back. First match, Brazil versus Montenegro. They're already inside procedure, as you can see, and expect a lot of tight racing, penalties, and lots of fun. So join us today.
Yes, team racing is 4 versus 4, and you won't protest after the game is over, Pablo, will you?
No, everything is, you see there's 2 umpires. Those are the 2 ribs there, the blue ones. And these ribs are taking taking decisions within the racing, and sailors have to comply and do turns when needed.
So quick crash course on team racing for you folks who have not been doing it yourself. 4 versus 4. We see 4 sailors from Brazil against 4 sailors from Montenegro. The key to winning a game is to come out of it with the least amount of points. The number 1 over the finishing line gets 1 point, and all the way down to number 8 over the finishing line that gets 8 points. As a team, if you get 17% or 17 points or lower, you are guaranteed to win. So even if you're first, you really can't cross the finishing line until you know that the rest in your team will also get good positions. It's a bit of a more of a chess game than a speed game, Pablo, right?
Yeah, definitely. As you can see now, we're going to see lots of action, lots of rules, lots of really tight calls. We see Brazil here closing off Montenegro above the mark and below the mark. This is called mark traps, and what they are trying to do is let their teammates pass. We can see here Brazil's Manuel, I believe, passing in first place. Another Brazilian in second here, closing the gap, just letting his teammate pass, and then he tags. And here they're just trying to go for a winning combination. Obviously, 1, 2, 3 wins, and it looks like Brazil has that in the pocket right now. But anything can change. As we can see, there's a Brazilian that's last, and it's going to be tight throughout the whole day, I can tell you. We have right now...
Wait, you said obviously 1, 2, 3 wins. Why is that so, Pablo?
Well, that's so because there's a magic number in team racing. It's 18. And as you said before, anything below 18 wins. So 1 + 2 + 3 is 6. So it doesn't matter what you add because you can only add up to 8.
Okay, so if you add the 8, you're still going to be safely. Yeah. Good.
That's obviously, as in normal racing, we have a technical measure when we finish. And if he sees that you're not complying with the rules, you can also get points. And yeah, if that happens, you could lose even if you had a winning combination. So you never want to risk it. At the end, the team that gets the least amount of points wins. And if your teammate gets, unfortunately, for not complying with rules points, then it's probably game over for you.
So here we have a classic example of that. Brazil has managed to get themselves into this golden position of having 1, 2, and 3. Basically, it doesn't matter that the last Brazilian is towards the end. So the game for Montenegro is now obviously tough, but what do they need to do?
What we need to do is they need to pass. They need to really try and catch up with the Brazilians and try put a bit of pressure on them. If they could manage to get Brazil 4-3-8-0 into last position, so 7th, it would be turning the tables. But right now they just have to be fast and try to catch up with Marcos from Brazil. We have Arthur and Manuel on first and second place, followed by Marcos. And their only chance right now is just trying to catch up with Marcos and see if they can push him behind the Montenegro gang.
So once they cross that finish line, is it game over for Montenegro then?
Well, looking at the team racing schedule we have, each team can lose once before it's game over. Like they lose once and they have a second opportunity, but second loss and you're out.
So there's only one match.
Yes, there's only one match, and you qualify. There's always a winner and a loser. Winner finds the next winner, which of Hungary and France, and the two losers of this match fight each other. And it's just like a cycle, like a football, more like a football competition than what we're used to in sailing. And you can just keep on progressing. Great job here by Brazil, scoring 1, 2, 3.
Excellent control over this game, right?
And as you can see, this is not like our usual streaming, which is slow. We're really fast here, and it just keeps on going and going.
Yeah. So first game to Brazil.
No time here to rest. We already have next match. It's Malta versus Switzerland.
Oh, many turning there. What's happening there when they do that turn, Pablo?
So it looks like there has been an individual recall. The sailors that have think that that we're over the line, they're going to correct their mistake.
So it's basically false start as in regular, but here you still get to finish the race, but you have to go back to the start line until you're below the start line, and then you can commence sailing again, yeah?
Yeah, what we have is a P flag, and P flag allows you to just cross the line in, and once you've fully crossed with your boat, you can go again and race the course. As you can see, something that's very, very typical in team racing is tacking. You're going to see lots of tacks by the sailors. What you're trying to do is just push your rivals to the back or maybe let one of your teammates pass. And you can see how it's looking here. It's tight match right now. Switzerland rounding in first. Looks like Malta might be in second. And another Swiss in third. But for sure, we're going to see lots of tacking today. Two umpires in very close positions trying to judge everything. And we're just seeing here the first Swiss sailor pass. Malta sailor stopping the boat. Tacked inside the zone there. Let's see what strategy he wants to apply. Swiss sailor protesting. Let's see what the umpire believes. Red flag for Malta. Malta has to do the turns. If he managed to admit that he did a mistake before the umpire, he can do the turns. Looks like he did it before the red flag, so he's able to just take one turn, because if the umpire protests you, it's 2 turns. Swiss just stacking there, going to the next mark, followed by Malta. Another Malta just letting his teammate pass, slowing down the Swiss. And as we said before, last 2 loses. So Switzerland has some catching up to do now.
Yeah, that's one of the other magic numbers, right? We talked about the 1, 2, 3 that the kids want to achieve. If you have the power to achieve that early, you just go.
Yeah.
The other magic number is to lock them in 7, 8. And with the same math you provided us before, Pablo, right? 7 plus 8 is 15 points, and then you have 2 more, and then you're above this magic
Game
8.
over.
And
Yeah. Once we're in 7 and 8, it's losing position, so that's another strategy that you could do. And it was just blocking 2 rivals from the other team and not letting pass your other 2 teammates or 3 teammates, and that's also a winning combination. It's hard to do because it means that you have sailors from the other team somewhere in front, and they can always also slow down your sailors and push them to the back. But yeah, 7-8 always wins.
So right now, Switzerland 1-2. So this is the complication for them, right? You could feel that they're in the lead. For those of you who don't really have gotten the full width of team racing, they could just go in, right? But if they lock their two teammates at 7 and 8, they will just have to turn around and make something happen, because they are currently, if that still is the case, not in a winning position.
Yeah, and something you will see a lot now, as the Swiss sailor did, is marking zones, marking room, just making sure that everybody's clear on your intentions and what they have or don't have. You can see Malta sailor here heading up, needs to pass the mark. What he's doing here is slowing down. This is called the mark trap, and he's going to wait for the Swiss sailors and just crush them in when they come, or at least try to.
So they're just letting 1-2 go, right, to make sure that they can set this up.
Yes, you will see lots of sailors waiting here. It's not about finishing the course as fast as possible, but more about making your rivals finish behind you and use those winning. Ooh, tight there by Malta.
And now we're seeing some team sailing here.
Yes, already tight. Second race of the day, and it's already looking tight here.
Yeah, Switzerland has broken out of that 7-8 position now, so they are in the game. Absolutely, and Malta have to do something about it.
Tricky combination here. We have Swiss sailor coming from the upwind mark already, I believe. Malta sailor really stopping the boat there, just giving a bit of breathing distance. Another Malta sailor waiting there. This is the word of the day, I think, is going to be mark traps. And we have Malta 230 waiting. If anybody tries to go between him and the mark, that's game over for the other sailor. He'll get squished. And if he goes on the other way to leeward, he'll just make him sail slow and get caught up by the other sailors. So you can see here Malta 230 really slowing down the fleet, letting his teammate pass to leeward. Great job there by Malta 230. 173 is able to dash off.
But then we got a penalty there, right? So the Malta sailor had to turn.
Yeah, but he managed to get. We have 3 Malta sailors in the top 5, I believe. Yeah, and that's also close to a winning combination or winning combination. You just have to fend those Swiss off right now. He's getting double tax Switzerland. Malta 230 needs to pass now. As you can see, Swiss 1953 waiting there for his teammates. He can't just afford to go in. Same with the other Swiss sailors. They just can't afford it. They need to wait and see how it plays off. And
because if you choose to finish, you're not allowed to be a part of this game, right? So if you finish one, might seem good, but you cannot help your teammates secure the overall win by having the lowest amount of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, once you cross the finish line, it's game over, and you need to leave the course unless you've touched the mark and you need to correct an error of you've done in racing, or either you get a late penalty. But once you're through the line, it's game over. So you have to really slow down the boat, wait, and only cross when you're certain on the outcome of the racing.
So if you have 17 or lower, you win. That we understood. What happens in an 18-18 scenario, since there's 36 points at play in a game?
Yeah, 18-18, first place loses. So that's why 1, 2, 7, 8 loses. 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. So it's looking tight here, looking very tight. You can see the boats. Like, if you didn't know what they're trying to do, they would look like they're just starting to sail, but this is Worlds, and this is not the case. What they're trying to do is really slow down the others, let their teammates pass, and I think this is going to be a match that's going to be decided in the finishing line, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sailors are going to be counting here. They need to do the mental math while they're sailing.
On the fly, right?
Yeah.
And do this right now.
They usually have a small cheat sheet, we call, with the winning combinations, and you order.
So they choose to go in 1, 2 now. Switzerland, no, it's not going. They choose 1. They do 2, and they do 3. And that's a game for Switzerland, right?
Yes, it's been tight. It's been tight. Malta started in the lead with 2 Swiss sailors in the back, but Switzerland has done an amazing job catching up. So well done, guys. Well
Yeah,
done.
well done.
So for those that are tuning in now, we're just gonna play a course overview so you understand more the course. This is not the typical upwind reaching downwind upwind that we're seeing. It's a different course, and we'll just display it very soon in screen. So we have here Argentina, Latvia. Another race of the day. Argentinians are usually very, very strong, so we'll see how Latvians do against them. With me now commentating, I have Ton Torn, bronze medalist coach in team racing. How are you, Ton?
Hi, I'm really excited to be here. I've been working in the background trying to get the tech working, but it's great to be on the commentary now and see all this fabulous sailing. We have Argentina pushing early on the line, a little bit higher up, where it's better to be if you have control of the other boats, but could also be worse because you can accelerate a little bit later than the rest.
We see Latvia 7 here, very tight. Let's see if he crosses the line. Ooh, slowing down, having to go high there.
It looks like a clear start. We have Argentina to leeward. So it looks like they have 1, 2, and 3 on the leeward side, which is very good because they now have control of the race and also have the best boat at the other side, on the right side of the course. We can see Argentina attacking on top of the Latvian sailors.
Yeah. Argentina taking now an early lead, just trying to control the race. Sometimes when you get the opportunity and you can just lead the race from the start, you just have to control, right, Ton?
Correct. And in this case, it's very nice because we have two Argentinians controlling 4 Latvian boats. Normally it's 1 against 1 or something like that. But
Yeah.
now it's a little bit easier for Argentina to sail because the other 2 sailors can focus on speed. We are approaching the mark. It's very interesting. We have starboard boats coming in, hitting the Argentinians, so they couldn't actually pass. So now I think this race is far from over.
Argentina rounding 1, 2.
Yeah, but now here's the question. Are they gonna now Latvian sailors attacking? There was an opportunity there to
cross.
to hold this Argentinian 40-11 sailor.
Yeah, and let's see if we can get a mark trap here by the Latvian sailor. Let's see if he slows down. He could have the opportunity of slowing down the fleet.
They're going downwind. We have Argentina first and second and fourth, sorry. So that's a clear lead.
Yep.
Best strategy if you're a Latvian sailor now is to plan some kind of mark trap. It's not easy because the Argentinian boats are first to the mark. Argentina passing. There is no opportunity for Latvia 115 to do something at this moment.
Yeah, Nicola from Latvia here has to see what options she has. She definitely needs to change the situation. If not, it's probably game over. Like we're having 1, 2, 4, 5 from Argentina, and Latvia Nicola has to do something. She has to slow down at least so her teammates have an opportunity of passing. But we can see that Argentinian Tomas is not going to allow that. He's also going to try and stop him, trying to stop Nicola to make sure that his teammates pass. We can see Gino just trying to pass over, and now we are seeing also Bautista just sliding underneath. Good job there by Gino, making a 1, 2, 3. You're gonna see now they just have to try and sail fast, no mistakes.
Yeah, we're gonna see Gino now making the attack, and he will probably try to hold up the whole team to create a distance to the other boats. So no matter what happens, even if he himself is bad, the Argentinian team will take this match.
And what happens if I crash against one of my teammates or I break a rule? Ton?
We have normal rules applying, so the boat that did the infringement, he or she has to take a penalty.
So Argentina looking very solid here. 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4. Let's see how it ends, but this is for sure under 17 points. So there looks like they're gonna take a win.
Yeah, and we don't have that long left to go. We have the final upwind to the finish, and we can see that the race course is extremely short today.
Extremely short, yeah. Very quick racing. Not the usual that we get to know the sailors as the racing advances, and we're like 40 minutes with them. But here is like just a sprint, 10 minutes maximum. It's off to the next teams. So we really have to be all the time on our toes, and same as the sailors, they're all the time thinking, and they can't afford mistakes.
Yeah, and we just had Argentina 1, 2, and 3, and also 4. So that makes Argentina win this match.
And we have another match going on. Let's just see there what's happening. Germany versus Cyprus. They just did the start. We missed it because we were watching this final race. And as you can see, the races are happening lots at the same time, Meton.
Yeah, so we're trying to catch as many races as possible, but we have a few selected races we're going to focus on. So when we have some spare time, we'll also try and cover some other races. In this match, we can see Germany taking early lead on the right side with first and second, which is always nice because then you have some extra opportunity to do a mark trap.
Yeah. Looks like Germany also taking here, coming with starboard to the mark. Cyprus just bearing away. Let's see what Germany decides to do. Will he stop or will he continue? He continues to go. It's very important for the kids also to be in sync with what they're doing with their teammates, because if you stop and the other teammates want you to keep on going, it could be a fatal error. We have here Johnny in second, followed by Michaela in third place, and Chris's in fourth place. And let's see how it plays out. It's a 1-2 for Germany, followed by a 3-4 by Cyprus, 5 for Germany, 6 for Cyprus, 7 for Cyprus, 8 for Germany. It's definitely a tight one, this one.
Yeah, and here we have our eyes following Germany 2082, which is Lasse Kive, and he will be the target of all the attacks. So we'll see what happens here on the downwind.
Yeah, and like teams divide each other, the work based on their strengths and weaknesses. For example, you have a really small sailor that's very fast. We usually send him as what we call a rabbit, and he just tries to sprint away from the chaos. But he also has to know how to defend himself and maybe use slower sailors that are maybe bigger with more experience to try and slow down the rest. And it depends on every team, the team's strengths, the team's weaknesses, but it's very important to know your team very well and know the sailors.
Yeah, and we have some trouble seeing the same numbers here from this angle, but looks like Germany is still in the lead, but just barely. It's gonna be a close fight. We'll see if they play out one last mark trap on the reach mark.
Tight racing, very, very, very short. We see Germany rounding there in first place. Germany in second place, just slowing down. Let's see what Cyprus Sailors decides to do. And something that's very curious here is that as everybody's speaking different languages, you can really speak in words. Maybe in national regattas of team racing, everybody speaks the same, so you can't really tell your intentions as they will understand. But here you can speak more freely, right, Ton?
Yeah, it's often good that you create some code words for your team, especially if you have a language that everyone understands, like English. Here we can see that Germany is in control, but it's not that easy because Cyprus still has one boat, the third boat, which is 2082 Lasse that we talked about earlier. He is on the left side, and he will be, as I said, the target of all attacks. And now he's approaching the left side of the race course, which means it's easy to be locked outside the finish line. And we have the finish line here in view. And now he needs to make attack. And this attack is going to be really hard because he has Cyprus 30 right on top of him.
This one is definitely intense. We see the German sailors not sure if to go in or not. And now we're having the rest approach. Tight, really short race. Let's see what they do. 1-2 for Germany.
Yeah. If the German sailor can finish here, he will probably make attack in time and then finish, so it will be fine. But if he couldn't do that,
And looks like he managed to do it. So
Yeah,
match
yeah.
for Germany, right, Tom?
Yeah, so Germany has won this match, unless there were any OCS.
Nu kan ni peka på dem.
Here we have Uruguay, New Zealand. We were speaking with the New Zealand, and they told us they have a secret strategy, right, Tom?
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't want to tell us all their secrets in case the other team was listening.
Yeah, but we have here looking like an interesting match. Let's see how the sailors play it out. The New Zealand sailors told us they had sailed a bit before together, so let's see how it plays out for them. Very tight here, Uruguay versus New Zealand.
Yeah, and we'll see if there's a penalty here, but yeah, there's a penalty for the attack there. So we had Uruguay going low when New Zealand tried to attack, and as a result, New Zealand is now spinning 2 turns.
And how do we know, for those that are new, how when we get a penalty?
Yeah, so you have a choice. You can either take your penalty voluntarily, and then you only have to spin once, or you wait for the umpire, and if you're unlucky, you will get penalized, and then you have to spin twice. We are now approaching the mark here. There's a lot of going on. It's very important here to keep track of the other boats so you know where the zone is and who was first in the zone. It looks like
New Zealand taking 1-2, but looks like the umpire just put a penalty up. Let's see for who's the penalty. New Zealand taking penalty. It's really important also when you're taking penalty to avoid the other sailors, because if you could get a further penalty for not being away from the rivals while taking penalty. It looks like New Zealand is in trouble now. 6, 7, 8. That's never good. So they're gonna have to do some work, and Uruguay just needs to try and control the race now. So let's see how it looks from the other camera, this match. Definitely not a game. Ooh, very tight close there. I think they even crashed between Uruguay. If that happens and the umpire sees it, we could see a penalty coming between. He's taking penalty, so that means there was a collision between the team, and he's just admitting is there a New Zealand going there. As you see, Uruguay didn't keep space, so you're gonna see New Zealand protest now. New Zealand just protesting. Let's see what the umpires decide. Let's see if Uruguay takes penalty. Sometimes it can happen that the umpires don't see the penalties because there's 8 sailors, lots of cases at the same time, and you could see it could happen that maybe there's no action by the umpires. Even if we see it so clearly, they don't have this eye view, bird view.
Yeah, we can see that New Zealand is now trying to lay a mark trap, 45-66, doing a great job stopping the whole fleet, but it will also create complete chaos. It's really hard even for the umpires to keep track of what's going on. But we know that 45-66 still has mark room. Now it expired because it passed outside. We have New Zealand 48-12 passing on the inside.
New Zealand definitely turning this regatta around. Remember, they were 6, 7, 8 in the top upwind mark, and they are now 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely not a game over for them. Good job, guys, there.
Yeah, and but we still have Uruguay in the lead, so there's a chance to either turn back and reach back and be on starboard, or he can wait until he reaches the mark and then try to create a mark trap.
Yeah, let's see what he does. He definitely needs to do something. He can't just wait. So let's see what he does. He's going on starboard.
He's gonna let one through probably and try to create as much havoc as he can for the rest.
Looks like Uruguay is doing a good move there. Ooh, second New Zealand just passed.
Still a better position than before.
Yes.
New Zealand is now the bottom 2.
New Zealand has some job to do.
We probably have some kind of flag coming up here.
Attacking here. Looks like is asking for an umpire decision. Let's see what the umpires brings up.
Yeah, so we are
red flag. We have a red flag. Let's see who's taking this red flag. Red flag for Uruguay. It was probably for after leaving the zone, that starboard port, right, Tom?
Yeah, it's a dubious call there because he was already on the inside and the other boat tacked. So then he has to try and keep clear. But the mark was in the way. But the umpire has decided that Uruguay was in the wrong. We are continuing on the upwind, and New Zealand now has a decent advantage, but it's far from over. The problem is that Uruguay now has to stop the New Zealand boat for quite a while, even if they actually manage to hook the third boat. We will see what's happening. We have New Zealand in the top 2, ready to help out if their third teammate gets in trouble.
Uruguay can't afford to come into the finishing line. If they do it, it's game over. Once they cross, they can't come back. Looks like Uruguay is going to try here and just fend off the finishing line New Zealand, as you see there. We have another New Zealand just waiting there.
Yeah, we can now turn to the middle where we see Uruguay 79, I think, fighting a New Zealand boat, and that's where we're going to have the big fight. 41-12 is in trouble. This boat will probably decide who's going to win the match. We still can't see the fourth Uruguay sailor. I'm not sure where.
He was doing turns before, right?
Yeah, looks like he's very far behind, and then that means New Zealand won, unless he's in the front and we missed him. No, he's
No.
back there. So that means New Zealand won the match.
Yeah, match for New Zealand. And we're off here with Singapore versus Ireland. Match just started. Let's see how it plays out and how it starts. As always, 8 boats, two umpires, lots of decisions and lots of action happening. Singapore looks like they're managing just to squeeze a bit out there whilst and could there be a individual recall, Tom? Is that where the sailors are going to correct?
Probably there's an individual recall, and that's why the sailors are going down. They don't really know who's over the line until they take down the flag.
So it's very important also to do individual things like checking transit lines and knowing your acceleration, right, Tom?
Yes, so you need to do all the preparations that you do in a normal start. A little bit less emphasis on the strategic part, but still it's very important. So we are now on the upwind mark. We can see Singapore 1, 2, 3. That's a winning advantage, but Ireland is really close.
Ireland now have one objective, and that is sailing fast. And if they manage to do that, they could overturn the situation.
Yeah, and the good thing is there's 3 of them, so they can just focus on one Singaporean boat, and that will be 149.
Yeah, you just have to try and get the one that's furthest back.
And we can see Singapore getting a penalty.
What did he do, Tom? Did you see?
No, I think we came in too late to see what actually happened, but it was from the upwind mark.
And
so-
Ireland now could protest, right? He had to avoid while Singapore was taking turns.
Yeah, I don't think there will be a further penalty, but yes, that is correct. And Ireland filling the boat full of water, that's really costly.
That is going to be costly.
There's a collision.
And there's collision, so there's going to be penalty for sure.
Yeah, and I would say that's clearly Singapore 149's fault, but I don't think the umpires were looking. We have a mark trap, meanwhile going on. 2 boats are outside the zone on the right side. Only 1 mark trap is still working. We have Singapore in 1, 2, and
Singapore
3 and
passing.
4. Oh, that's
a tough one.
yeah. You're not really recovering from that.
Why, Ton? Why is that you're not really recovering?
Yeah, because you need to catch 2 boats in order to make this some kind of fight. And right now, it's very easy for Singapore to just drop the 1 boat, which they're doing now with 164, staying to create some space to the other 3 boats. And by doing that, the game is over.
Like, yeah, looks like hard for Ireland to catch now. Let's see how they do. And match is nearly finishing. Looks like Singapore has it in the books unless they take a mistake. They do a big mistake. They have 1-2-3. Good job there by Singapore. 1-6-4, just slowing down the team and just allowing the other three sailors to do a 1-2-3. So that's a good combination. Good one, guys. Definitely lots of action coming back today. We had a slow start, no wind, but the wind has finally filled in and looks like we're going to have some great racing. Singapore 142 taking first place, Singapore 149 taking second place, and Singapore 121 taking third place. So looks like game over for Ireland now, unfortunately. We're on the next match now, mid course, and match is nearly finishing. Thailand taking first place, UAE taking third, fourth, fifth, and looks like Thailand is in fifth and sixth place, sixth and seventh place. We haven't seen the last UAE sailor. Once we see it, we'll see if it's how tight it is. Thailand deciding to stop in the mark just to see if it's needed some breathing space. Looks like 1253 is going to be setting up for a mark trap. Yeah, there he is. He decides to take away UAE 70. slowing down the boat a lot. They can really use a rudder to slow down the boat. He has made everything tighter for those in the back. For Thailand 1295 and 1945, that gives them more breathing chances and more opportunity to pass. Some of you are asking if we can see the results somewhere. Unfortunately, we can't. There's still a problem from Metasail with the trackers, so we can't really see them, and this is the only coverage we have. So apologies for that. Thailand there, just passing, really matching there with UAE. UAE has now to decide if he attacks Thailand 1945 or 1295. He's in a tricky situation, lots of thinking to do. Thailand 1295 now going to the mark, whilst UAE 40 is stuck there with 1945. It looks like Thailand would have now 1, 2, 5, 6. That would be a winning combination for them, as UAE has 7 and 8, so they have to see how it plays out. They just have to conserve this winning position. But it is still tight. UAE closing the gap there. UAE's chance now is just making sure that Thailand gets 7 and 8. But as you can see, Thailand is also slowing down. They don't really want this match to end until they're certain they get a win. Because once you're through, there's no going back. So Thailand taking 1, 2. Tricky stuff here. We have Thailand 1295 between boats. Thailand 1945 also here trapped. And one Thai is going to have to avoid the other one. He decides to attack. Do you think that he's going to make it inside the finishing line, Ton?
Yeah, it all depends if 1945 can finish, but right now none of them can finish. So it looks like UAE could actually win this with some good sailing.
UAE protesting.
Oh no, they're gonna forget Thailand 1295. For sure, this could be problematic. They forgot him, so he's gonna finish, and because of that, Thailand will win this match.
But this one was tight at the end. Great job by UAE there, just pushing and being able to make few spots and just making everything a bit tighter.
Yeah, that was some great team racing there.
As you can see, even in the finishing line, everything can be decided.
It's still quite light over the race course, but that's filled in. Maybe we have 4 or 5 knots.
And this is ideal racing conditions. You can really maneuver the boat. You can really slow down the rest, and it's great for team racing. We're in the next match here, Belgium versus Sweden. Sweden finished in 3rd place in the 2022 Team Racing Worlds. Let's see how they do today. We're inside pre-start. And tell us, Ton, how does when can they start protesting? When can we start seeing turns?
Yeah, so right now I don't really know what time we're entering, but it's like in normal sailing, you have a preparatory signal and you have a warning signal. Normally it's 5 minutes and 4 minutes, now 3 and 2 minutes. So on 2 minutes, we can start applying the rules. We can see that the boats are lining up. Seems like they are actually fighting a lot more than most teams. That's why they are not on the line, but prepping to stop each other from entering the line.
So who has controlling position there? Who can attack and who has to try and defend?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too early to say because the boats are very tightly packed. So just very small changes will
Will change
change.
a lot.
Yeah, but for now it looks like Belgium decides to enter the line first, and now we can also see that the rules start applying. So now there will be penalties given.
Now is when the fight starts, right?
Yeah, and we can see Belgium really likes to go early under the starting vessel, trying to block Sweden from entering the line.
And how is this type of start called? Is it a man on man?
I don't think so because it looks like Belgium, they have 4 sailors in a line. So this looks like some kind of special strategy from Coach Peter. We will see if Sweden managed to enter the line.
1 minute left
Yeah,
now.
it's
They
not
just dropped
much,
the
and the
flag.
drift is very small. So you can see the Swedes are now torpedoing the line that Belgium created, and looks like they broke through. So now everything is open again. We have Swedish boat Elsa Bejar on the right side, I think I can see, but Swedish boat is now controlling the mark, and sorry, it is actually Alexander Forsen who is holding up the mark. We have Ernst Åkesson from Sweden trying to win the pin, so they obviously had a strategy winning both pin and the boat. Looks like
It is
we
tight, eh?
split into 1-against-1, no?
Yeah.
First, they had some kind of strategies, but all strategies went, well, didn't go as planned.
Complicated.
So now they just went 1-against-1. And here
So
we
this
have
is man on man.
yeah,
And what
yeah.
do they try and do now?
Yeah, we have a clear start. Looks like Sweden has the edge, except for one Belgium boat in the middle. In the middle, that's all right.
And that Belgian boat could control the Swedes, right? He could just decide when they're attacking, when they're not attacking. And if you can take 3 boats with 2, that's a win always. You have 2 boats free that can just rush.
Yeah, but it looks like he's not able to hold it. So now the Swedish boats on the left are free. You can see 4940 and 4922 tack. And they have now control of the Belgian boat on the left side. But the problem right now is that the wind seems to be a little bit stronger on the right side. So Belgium actually has a pretty strong position, even though I would still give the advantage to
And
Sweden.
Belgium 1260 just taking a turn there. We don't know what happened. We're checking the other boats. But he's taking 2 turns, so that means it was started by the umpire. It was a red flag. And let's see how the top mark rounding is. We have Sweden 4939 in a controlling position. Looks like he's going to be rounding first. And then we have Belgium, Sweden, Belgium, Sweden. So it's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, we'll see now boats coming in from starboard, and their goal is to make the other boats tack. They're coming in from port. It's a little bit better to be early. We'll see Swedish Alexander Forsen going to the mark, waiting to see what's happening, probably targeting 1193 from Belgium.
And what does it depend? When do I decide to go or not go?
Now he will probably go pretty soon because now the Belgish boats are starting to go under him. So they are not actually gaining anything so far. He needs to wait for the perfect opportunity to release his own boat. You can see now there will be 3 Swedes in the bottom, fighting with 2 Belgian boats. Luckily, the Swedish boats managed to overtake Belgian boat 1260.
We have here Sweden 4940 going on starboard.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a green flag because the Belgian boat tried to keep clear. But that's a very common strategy to turn back on the reach and try to attack backwards. But it was really successful because now we have 3 Belgian boats in the back.
Yeah, but it's also very risky, right? Going on starboard, because if they manage to avoid you, you're making distance the opposite way, so you're undoing the course, right?
Yeah, but normally in team racing, that's not such a bad thing. Of course, you don't want to lose any boats, and we can see Belgian boat 1281 trying to do a mark trap that's gonna fail because he cannot close this gap now.
It's too late, no? Too much gap.
Yeah, but he will be starboard, so he is allowed to like try and push them, but if they're already between him and the mark, he cannot close the gap. So now we can see the Swedish boat overtaking 1281, but there's another Belgian boat, 1193, going really fast on the left side. Looks like that boat is now maybe overtaking the rest of the fleet. What do you think, Pablo?
Yeah, it looks like this. I think we have another angle also. Let's check it. Same race, different angle.
Yeah, we have Swedish 4940 Didik Dahlberg going in first. And here you have some options. You can try and wait, or you can go early and then come back later on the reach. We can see Belgian boat using his rider weight as a starboard boat to push Didik out of the zone.
It is definitely messy around here.
Yeah, and now Swedish Alexander Forsen is in the lead, but he's followed by 3 Belgian boats. So they actually really turned this around.
They turned this around. You can never let your guard down in team racing.
Yeah, but knowing Alexander, he's gonna have some surprises waiting at the next mark. We can see the fight going on meanwhile between Belgian boat 1260 and Swedish 4936 and Swedish boat 4922. So there will definitely be a fight there when they come closer to the mark. But I think the real action is going to be decided in top if 4939 Alexander Forsen decides to do something.
He's going for a dive here, forcing Belgium 1.
He's gonna probably hold up 3 boats by himself. That's quite common, but the Swedish boat doesn't really manage to pass. So that was a really good maneuver by the Belgian boats, but they're still.
So what should we
not
do
in a
now?
good
What should the
position.
Belgians do? Go for attack, open the fleet up?
I think the Belgian boats just need to try to be speedy and do what they can, but they already, slipped back enough for the Swedish boat to almost overtake them. So I would say this match is still open.
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight.
Yeah, and we can see starboard boats creating chaos. There we will
Ooh,
definitely have a penalty,
we're gonna have a penalty there.
probably on the Belgian boat, but we'll see. Meanwhile, we have a Swedish boat 4940 locked on the right
And
side.
what did they raise? Looks like a green flag.
Yeah, it's a green flag.
It's definitely a tight match. The sailors in the back managed to catch up. And Belgium sailors are doing a great job. It looked very bad in the top mark, but they're managing to really, really turn this around.
Yeah, it's too early to give a forecast who's going to win. We can see on the right side that Didi Dahlberg lost the boat who was following him, which is a good thing because now he can enter the finish clearly without any problems, which means he will also be a starboard boat that will be really dangerous at the end of the upwind.
You're seeing boats really bearing away sharply here. The Swedes are not giving up.
Yeah, we can see fight between 1281 from Belgium and 4939. Swedish boat coming in the top here together with Didi Dahlberg, who was coming in from the right. And looks like Sweden's going to have 1-2, and probably we'll see the Belgian boats going on the attack, leaving the top 2 positions to Sweden. But it's unclear.
It is very tight.
Sweden is just taking the 1 and 2, and they also have the 5th boat. So it's all about can they stop the Swedish boat 4930? They just 36. They just tagged.
And there's a penalty.
And they got a penalty.
And there's a penalty
but
there.
It's still up to Ernst Åkesson 4922. Can he finish before the Belgian boat or not?
That's close in ley line,
And it looks like he is gonna do it. So I think Sweden won this by 30 centimeters or something.
Very close. And we're having here. It's very important to avoid collisions even after the finishing. You could get a penalty. I remember a few years ago that Turkey won the Europeans and they crashed after the finish line, and that's why they lost the final.
That's all.
So we're going to have a small pause now and we'll be back very, very soon. Thanks for joining.
Hi guys, some advice for team racing. What I personally think is the most important thing when you're doing team racing is to focus on sailing fast and having a lot of speed. If you have a lot of speed, you could always catch up to your opponents, or you can keep the opponents behind you. And back in my time, this was something that many teams struggled with, and all the teams that ended up in front were the teams with the fastest sailors, with the people who were sailing the fastest. So if I were to give you advice on something to focus on, is sailing fast and having a lot of speed. Hi guys, some advice for team racing. What I personally think is the most important.
I've got that lightning inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, oh, just you watch. I'm stepping into fate. This is how legends are made.
Hello from Portorož, from the World Championship venue 2025. We are here with our beautiful venue. We expect medium light wind, but can be everything here. So the kids are ready. I see many sailors come earlier here. We are here from one sail to support them, and we will do our best for them. If they need advices, they know where we are, and we will help everybody.
Next match up, we have Germany versus Argentina. Germany and Argentina were the winners of the first round of Argentina, Latvia, and Germany versus Cyprus. So we expect a bit more tight fighting here, right, Ton? As matches advance, we expect the teams to get tighter and the matches to get tighter and tighter.
Yeah, we have two winners here meeting each other, and we're gonna have matches where winners meet winners for a while, and then we have losers meeting losers. So here we have the second match for these teams. We can see Argentina going strong on the left side, but Germany winning on the right side, which probably means that Germany for now has control of this match because they have the top two boats. They can control the mark. We will see if the German boat decides to wait or continue and come back on the reach.
And we see Argentina just slowing down Germany and having his Argentinian fellow friend just passing. We're seeing a penalty here by Argentina 4-1-2-2. And he just went to port and Germany had to avoid him. We'll probably see another turn by Argentina. Yes, we're seeing second turn by Argentina. This is definitely getting tighter.
Indeed, and we can see that German boats are now trying to get past the blockade that the Argentinian boats created at the mark. But this is a common, well, not mistake, but it's a common consequence when you try to lay a mark trap is that you win one boat and then you lose another one.
And yeah, it's definitely tight. 1, 3, 4, 7 for Germany, 2, 5, 6, 8. Argentina has to turn the tables right now, I think.
So when it's like this, it's not clear to any of the sailors which team is winning. And normally they just try to do what they can with the boat that they have the closest to them. It's not easy even for us from the drone view to keep track of what's going on.
Yes, because the spots change very, very quickly. Like you change one position, it's 1 point you're gaining, but 1 point the other team is losing. So it can change around everything a lot. And you can have multiple things happening at the same time. Like, for example, in this bottom marks that it becomes very, very sketchy all the time. We have here Argentina 4-1-7-5, just slowing down Germans and letting his teammates pass. So that's going to turn the situation around a bit. 4-1-7-5 here, doing great job just slowing everyone down.
Yes, that was actually a great move. We have now Argentina in second to fourth position. There is a German in the front, I think, who's
Yes.
out of the picture, and
Germany's
to the left.
at 1-5-6-7 right now.
Yeah, and that boat will come back and do what he or she can to change this. So here we can see Germany waiting. So there are many strategies here. You could come back for starboard, or you can try and give bad air to the boats. Looks like there is some indecisiveness here.
Just slowing down the boat there, really slowing down.
Yeah. It's a very good move to play it safe. If you're not sure what to do, you can at least block the boats behind
together,
you.
Right?
Yeah, push everything, squeeze everything a little bit together.
4-1-7-5 also going to slow down the boat there.
Germany's hope here is that Argentina still has the last boat, and that means they only have to catch one Argentinian boat to turn this around. We can see the German boat that was first almost getting caught up by some bad maneuvers and is now on the left. Not really clear if he can tack over the Argentinian boats. He is making the tack. We'll see now. This will be the game changer. It looks like could be a penalty. We will see.
We will see what the umpires think there.
If there's a penalty, the match is for sure over. But it looks like the umpire is not
Argentina
giving a flag.
4-1-7-5 also protesting there.
Here's another situation. Looks like it's going to be clear. So we have Argentina 1, 2, and 3. No, Germany is second, but it doesn't really matter because if you have 3 boats, top 5 or top 4, you're still winning. Not top 5, top 4 is correct.
And we're getting ready, going to the next match now. They're about to start. It's USA versus Turkey, I believe.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see. We'll see if we get a better image, but the American team is very experienced. Some of the sailors there, we talked to them earlier, and
I had high hopes on winning, right, Tom?
yeah, and they had trained a lot together. So we can see here there's a mixed starts. Some American sailors are doing great here on the right side. You can see there's a fight here between a Turkish boat in the middle and American boat also in the middle on the port tack, but they're not actually that close, which means the American boat can get help, which happened there in the cross, and you could just see that the Turkish boat had to duck. And because of that duck, that will make all the difference. So now the US boat will for sure win if they just keep going port. And change view, the boats I'm talking about are the ones on the far side to the left of the screen. We have the US boats coming in first to the mark.
We have two boats in the left ley line, port ley line, sailing quite above ley line, right, Tom?
Yeah, and that's actually a strategy because if someone wants to come and force you to attack, you can duck them, but you can't duck them if you're on lay. So here we can see the US coming in first and second, and that's a huge advantage that they're actually using to its fullest. We have first and second for the US, followed by 3 Turkish boats. It's a bit of a chaos here. It looks like 2 US boats got tangled up, so this match is not over.
We have two sailors way in front, having a good lead there.
Yeah.
USA 394, another USA. But the match is not over. Maybe they have to stop and come back. So it depends on how the situation unfolds, right?
Yeah, and here Turkey they sail 4 against 2, which will 90% of the time win. So we can see it already happened that the US sailors are now in the back of the fleet. But probably the other sailors are actually not just leaving them behind. They just wanted to make sure that they go first to the mark trap on the downwind, which is maybe the easiest mark to do something. And we can see they are lining up very well, not entering the zone too early. If you enter the zone too early, your drift's going to make you come out of sync when the other sailors arrive. So here we can see so far it looks very good. It looks like a perfect mark trap. Turkey is also doing great here, splitting. So you can see that they're going both right and left, so making it much harder for the US boats to actually stay in the
Turkey
zone.
1-1-2-2 going for a penalty, the protest there. Let's see what the umpires think.
Looks dangerous here. So looks like the mark trap's gonna fail and Turkey's gonna survive here. But at least they push the fleet.
Is together.
Yeah, they push the fleet to become a little bit more crowded. So we can see that the Turkish boats, they have control of the back. And that puts a lot of pressure on the US boats in the front.
Who should be worried now, Tom?
Yeah, we have 2 fights going on here. We have the most important one between USA 394 and Turkey 1125, I think. And these boats are like that fight's gonna impact the most, in my opinion. And then there's another fight in the back, but that fight is now controlled by the Turkish boats. But if something could happen there in those 2 pairs, it will also impact the match later on.
This is definitely a tight one.
Yeah, and we can see now that the US boats are gonna go for the chaos strategy. So that's could be the right move depending on
Could be,
what
could
happens.
be not, right, Tom?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Everything can turn around.
It's not the cleanest move, but it's very efficient. Looks like it actually did not affect anything so far. We still have the two US boats in the back.
So that's good for Turkey at the moment, right?
Yeah. So Turkey, they still have a decent margin at the moment. Still, this match is not over, not by a long shot.
But USA have to start changing things if they want to solve this. If they have 1 and 2, oh, USA 400 just passing in front of Turkey, so this is going to change the situation a bit.
Yeah, we're probably gonna see the American boats just pick one boat each and try to block that boat as much as possible, so that the Turkish boat go all the way into the back. But the problem is, it's extremely hard to do in this light wind. It's easy to tack, easy to propel the boat and get some speed, so you're always like approaching the finish line no matter what happens. We will see Turkish boats almost overtaking the leader, and now it's a really hard decision. Shall you finish or not? And probably you cannot finish here, but you're also in a very bad position to do anything backwards. So we have an American boat now blocking a Turkish boat on the right side, and that's going to be a key because he succeeded. And the Turks are now in the bottom, and it looks like the Americans turned this around.
Yeah.
It's that was an amazing end game there for the
Yeah, they
Americans.
managed to turn the whole situation around. Turkey taking 1-2-7-8 means they lost.
So that was maybe the best team racing we've seen
Yeah,
this day so
very
far.
very tight, definitely.
And we're going to the next match. We will see where they are in the schedule. So as you can see, the drones have some problems today because studio is blocked by a big concrete building. But we're doing what we can. We have New Zealand against Denmark in this matchup. So it looks like boats are lining up, preparing to accelerate. New Zealand has control over the line to leeward. And that's often a very good strategy to win one side, especially the leeward side, because then you can just keep sailing and you can control the fleet from there.
Be fast.
Yeah. Looks like Denmark, they're trying to put some more emphasis on the right side of the course, trying to win the boat end.
Maybe strategical decision.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but it looks like New Zealand got the better of Denmark in the start. We can see on the left, we have New Zealand 48-23, having a great position against two Danish boats, and will probably make not just one boat that just tacked, but also a second boat tack towards the middle. And this is really good because then the Danish boat will be in the way of their own teammates. And then it will drop back into the second row. So we see New Zealand 1, 2, and 3 on the left side of the course. And on the right side, Denmark is fighting strong, but it's more boats on the left side, so it's a little bit more important to win there. Let's go to the right side and see what's happening. We follow Denmark 86.06 and New Zealand 48.01. Then on the left side, we have New Zealand 48.23 trying to overtake the Danish boats. It looks like New Zealand had the left side, but something has happened while we went to the right side. So they are no longer in control. I would say the fleet is very mixed, Pablo.
Yeah, definitely very mixed. 2 New Zealands in the left side of the course if we look upwind, and 3 Danish, as well as we have the remaining boats in the right side. And we'll see how this top mark plays out.
Yeah, it looks like New Zealand's gonna... Oh, it's really hard to say here. Probably New Zealand has this mark rounding, but it's a little bit unclear. But they are the inner boats, and they have mark room, at least the first boat. 4566 attacked a little bit later, and that boat doesn't have mark room compared to the first Danish boats. We will see one Danish boat, 8805, trying to go outside and tack. Probably see New Zealand 4822 trying to go starboard here when the tack. No, they're all tacking. They're cashing in.
New
So-
Zealand taking the initiative now, going to the reaching. We see two boats that are very, very behind. Denmark 8802 and New Zealand 4823. They were stopping there, waiting to see how it played out. And New Zealand taking now 1-2. Denmark 8 taking 3-4-5 and just slowing down the last Kiwi there. And then we see the last Danish and last Kiwi approaching.
Yeah, and there was a penalty there on Denmark 8806, which means that New Zealand is now in the lead, but not by much. So we can see the fleet.
Big split here in the fleet.
It's split in two, and we see that at the bottom end there are only 2 New Zealand boats fighting against 3 Danish boats. And what we said before is that numbers win most of the time. So if nothing,
The more the merrier, right?
yeah, if nothing surprising happens, we will see Denmark winning that fight. But that also means that in the front we're gonna have New Zealand winning the fight in the front. So
there's a trade-off.
it's not so easy.
So it's a trade-off, either in the front or in the back. Somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. Big split. 2 New Zealand guys in the front with a Danish. What we have here in the backpack, 2 Kiwis and 3 Danish. So we'll see how the Danish control the situation or what they do. They have bigger numbers, so it would be easier for them to win this outcome and just push those Kiwi boats to the back.
Yeah, so it's hard to say what's better. Is it better to win the back or win the front? But normally I would say it's a little bit better to win the front if you have a long way to go on the race course. If you have lots of time to lay mark traps, it's better to win the front. But if the earlier you go into the match, then you want to win the back. So we can see here that New Zealand won the front as predicted, with then Denmark coming in third place.
Great job there by New Zealand, just splitting to leeward and windward of the Danish. Just makes them take more decisions, and the more decisions they're taking, the easier it's for them to take a mistake. So well done there. 4801 to windward of this group, 4823 to leeward. And now they have to take a decision. Denmark has to choose what to do.
Yeah,
It looks like 4823 is going to round in 4th place, I believe, right, Tom?
yeah, and
This could turn
Denmark
the
did
match.
not win this. It looks like New Zealand is now in control of this match. There was also a penalty in the top 3. We'll see how that plays out. We couldn't see the flag.
And here even 4801 is really slowed down. He made lots of distance, just slowed this group in the back, and we have 4823 just extending a bit. So that's always good. He's catching up with the front, and it will be 3 Kiwis in front versus 3 Danish in the back, and that's for sure a winning combination for New Zealand. We'll have to see how it plays out. We already see that those in the front are in the upwind, so they're quite ahead. Denmark 8805 has to make a decision whether to stop or whether to keep on going. So we'll see what he does. But tacking here and just slowing these 2 boats may not be the best option because he has 4823 coming back hot on him. And he decides to go for 4823. Probably a smart choice. And if you could push him to the back with 4801, we could see the tables being turned around.
Yeah, but problem is he is 3 against 1 or 3 against 2, depending on how this plays out. And it's actually wise to do this attack on the reach when the New Zealand boat already passed the mark, because now they're all on the upwind, which means the other 2 guys can come and help. But if you attack on the reach, it's impossible for them to go back and help. We can see here that Denmark is going for the strategy where you prevent other boat from tacking towards the line.
We
And
see that our Kiwi friends is coming down there to help.
yeah, and now it's going to be really hard for the Danish boat to survive. Probably she will not, or he will not survive. Already tacking to keep speed.
Tagging again. In this light stuff, you don't lose that much by tacking. So what you really have to do is just keep flowing the boat, keep everything moving, and if you tack without losing speed, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, now we'll see this 2 against 1 for the rest of the upwind. So no mistakes for Denmark, while the Kiwis, they can come back every single time with a new boat if they fail.
Denmark 8805 again here going for 2 tacks. He just needs to fend off New Zealand 4823 or it will be game over. New Zealand here going for a jibe.
And there it looks like 4823 managed to get free. Meanwhile, Denmark 8802 has control of New Zealand boats at the bottom.
We see green flag by the umpire. He thinks there was no penalty there, so the fleet just keeps on going on, and you have to be really, really quick here to go for tacks if needed and not slow down the boat, because you could be yourself in trouble right now. 8805 here, bit underarmed. He has 2 boats to leeward of him on port that could basically tack and get him out of ley line. So that's a tricky situation there for 8805.
Yeah, but it looks like mission accomplished still, because on the right side there's extra wind, and now 2 Danish boats might even overtake this left crowd coming in. It's really unclear. It's going to be chaos.
Chaos again in the finish line. This is what team race is about.
Yeah, these boats on the left have for port need to duck, and they are not ducking.
Fleet really slowing down. Could it be 1, 2, 3 for New Zealand?
Yeah, it's unclear. Remember now that rules still apply. So if you hit the mark or you do something illegal right after finishing, there will be a penalty. So we'll see here if New Zealand, that boat 4822 will take a penalty for hitting the mark and spinning around the mark, which is allowed. But you also need to finish the spin before you enter the finish line for the second time. We'll see how the umpires react on this. It is allowed though to spin around the mark, so that is completely okay.
So
But you also need to make the final tack before you cross the line for the last time.
Lots of racing. Look how close we are to shore. Look how close we are. We're inside the bay. Very, very close here. And you can see that more action is coming up. Looks like the next match is coming up. This time it's the Swedes against Canadians. Sweden against Canada. Tough match coming up. We don't know how much time there's left. Could be last minute or could be just starting time. Canada versus Sweden. Canada was also very positive this morning, very motivated. So we'll see how it plays out for them. Another tight match coming up. And do you see any changes in the? Do you see any changes in the rate in the sailors' ton? Are the Swedes sailing with the same sailors, or did they change anyone around?
Yeah, I just came back. I didn't really have time to have a look. So I will come back later. But it looks like there's a girl sailing now. We have Swedish 4940 Didi Dahlberg being switched with Elsa Villar 4942. We have Didrik actually still sailing. So is it Oscar that's being swapped to Elsa in this match?
And tell me, Ton, why could someone change the sailors? Is it based on the other team, based on the conditions? Why would I change sailors around?
Well, probably in this case, they just change sailors so everyone has an opportunity to sail. But there are strategies to be had. Some sailors are better in strong wind and some sailors are better in light wind. Also, you can execute different strategies on the race course, and then maybe one sailor prepared a certain type of start, and then you want to play that card in the right match. So for now, we can see it's the same old, and where Sweden tries to block the other sailors before the start. They really like to attack early. We will see how Canada responds to this. And we actually interviewed Canada earlier today. And
so AP,
yeah,
race has been delayed. Let's see the reason why. Do you think it got lighter, Ton?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Probably there was some kind of shift. It doesn't look like the wind is any different from before in terms of intensity.
Great day. Conditions came in a bit late, but definitely looks like great day for team racing, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see if we maybe are lucky enough to have them move the race course a little so our drones can manage.
And some sailors are towing in. Do you think it's the end of the day? What will happen?
I don't know. Probably some teams have already been knocked out, and that's why they're going in. Let's have a look at this match while we're waiting on the other start. We are on the final reach, going for an upwind, and then we'll finish.
Who do we have here racing, Ton?
Yeah, I am also trying to figure that out. It looks like we have.
Netherlands versus Slovenia, right?
Yeah, I think so. At least it's Netherlands so that I can see. And it looks like it's a close fight so far.
Last upwind coming up.
We can now see a little bit better. We have Slovenia in the lead. Is it 1 and 2? I cannot see properly. But they're opening strong on the right side on the final upwind. We have two boats from the Netherlands in the last positions and also one in fifth position. So Slovenia is actually
Definitely
1,
got
2, and
lighter out
3.
there.
So they have some kind of control of this final upwind. There's one boat from the Netherlands that can actually do something. And it's going to be really tough. You need to make some good tacks to make a few meters so you can find an opportunity to lock at least one Slovenian boat from finishing.
So looking like 1, 2, 3 for Slovenia at the moment, right, Ton?
Yeah, it looks really, really good for Slovenia. We will see this final cross now. We need Slovenia 491 to actually be able to finish.
Yes.
And they are a little bit left of the finish line. So there's one final attack here for the Netherlands. If it's good enough, Slovenia might not be able to finish.
What's Slovenia 497 doing here? 487, sorry.
Yeah, it's trying to slow down the Netherlands boat just a little. So
He just
that
needs to let his friend
yeah,
pass, right?
yeah, so 491 can make attack. And we will see if it's gonna work.
How can I slow the boat down there, Ton?
Yeah, you just lie in front of it to give some bad air, but I'm not sure it's enough. We will see. Now it looks like it could be enough. We have no more Netherlands boats helping. But it's very easy to make a mistake here if you're the Slovenian boat. So that was a really nice move. We can see that 487 saved the day.
Great job, 487.
And it looks like Slovenia won this match.
Good job, Slovenia. Tight one there, but they managed to turn it around. And we finished one, and we're already up with the next one. Let's see who it is this time. Is it a replay of Sweden, Canada? Yes, it is a replay of Sweden, Canada. We're off again. The conditions just got a bit better, so they're ready for racing. First minute of the start, everybody just setting up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hand this to Peter so he can watch the races, and I will do some tech work to see if we can get a little bit better picture today.
Okay, so what do you think, Pablo, happened there with the? Did they? They did not have time to move the course in that short time, right?
Set of waves that was making everything bounce a bit. Maybe the race committee decided just to AP for a second, just to make sure the conditions were safe and that were fair there. And yeah, like small delay, 2 minutes doesn't hurt anyone, just makes everything fair.
Yeah.
So off they go again. We're already with P flag up. We'll probably start seeing clashes soon.
As two Swedes, two Canadians have entered the line. The others are
Last minute of the start. We're in the last minute now. So we'll see how it plays off. Canada moves to leeward with Sweden then following up. Not a lot of movement, still not a lot of protests. We haven't seen anybody spin around. Let's see if that changes now.
I think we're 30 seconds off to the start now.
Canada
roughly.
19818 finding a bit of trouble finding a gap.
Two Canada wanting to go, and there we go.
Ooh, there we go. Canada 19818 not having
Not
the
a
best
dream
start. Just having to bear away his teammates, so he'll already be last. He needs some catching up to do. And slow racing now.
Sweden may be taking a bit of a lead there, coming out of the start.
Remember that in team racing, you can always let your teammates pass, and if you feel that that's the correct decision, you can just pass through them and then cover other boats. This situation we wouldn't see in normal racing. In normal racing, everybody's with the knife between their teeth, as we say in Spanish, and they just have to not let anyone pass unless they really want to cross that person behind. But
there we saw
otherwise,
Sweden 49-22 going out to trap Canada at the top of the picture there, right? They probably saw that happening and decided to send one out. Sweden has the upside in this game of their code language being native. I think very few people in Canada speak Swedish, but the other way around is not so common.
We're just changing here sides, seeing the race from the other side of the course. We're seeing Canada 1918 that had the worst start, getting into attacking duel with Sweden 4922. Sweden looks like Sweden 4922 will probably be rounding first, has that starboard advantage and can control the race. Let his teammates pass.
Alex controlling the second, the 4939 controlling the second Canadian there. So they have locked, Ernst and Alex have locked the rounding. Let's see how they decide to trap this up.
Definitely some tight racing. Lots of umpires around. The press also there. Everybody trying to capture everything.
Swedes are now 7 and 8, right? So right now something has to change for them. Canada with their 3, 4, 5, 6 would be safe in this case. Yeah, still a lot to sail.
Let's switch camera, see it from the back now. Not a lot of movement happening, just finishing the course around. Canada will be okay with this, but Sweden needs to change things around. Sweden needs to change things around quickly. We're approaching the reaching mark now.
So now the Swedish team would want to kind of halt the fleet, give their friends a chance to catch up. Was there a collision there?
Collision, let's see. Looks like a red flag by the umpires.
That was a situation with the Canadian there. I think it was very close to touching by 49-42, but that was not the case probably. So now they're out of the 7-8 lock-in situation there.
Canada.
But still, much can happen in this match.
First Swede just stopping in the mark, starting to lay their mark trap. Let's see what 1918 decides to do. Slow down the boat. Everything again getting into chaos, getting tight. Canada passing around. Sweden 4922 also passing. Great job there by Alexander, just making space for his teammate to pass.
Decided for her to go up, right? So the trap was.
The prep has definitely worked out. Canada into 7 and 8 positions. That's losing positions. Let's just remind ourselves.
So there was 49-39 earlier in the top, having laid the trap, is now bottom, but he let his teammates pass.
But that's what we want, like sometimes you have to take one for the team to make sure the rest of the team passes.
All 4 wins.
Yeah. Canada now with a 5-6-8. And now we're seeing, just as we are passing this mark from the other side of the course. Let's see what Canada does. Best choice by Canada now would be probably just getting the fleet compact again and just trying to find some passing situations for their teammates. But the Swedes ain't giving that breathing space. Canada deciding to go for the next boat. Canada getting attacked on top by Sweden.
Alex still 49-39 still pushing the Canadian down the closest end. I think we have a 49-22 now at the opposite, trying to get some speed going there. Meeting another Swede, so now it's looking like Sweden currently has a hold, but it's half of the last leg still to go. So much can happen.
Different perspective now. We're seeing the Swede just stacking there 4940. Looks like the Swedes managed to turn this around, right?
Yeah, I
Peter?
think that Elsa did and Ernst has a 1-2-3 going now. And they're just making sure that they have all the boats behind them. But right now, if Elsa attacks and Didrik and Ernst just keeps going, it's a 1-2-3 and a solid lock-in for a win.
So good job there by Sweden. Managing to take this 1-2-3 and could even be 4th.
Yeah, strong play by Alexander there. Keeping many boats behind and setting up the trap that made it happen, I think. Let's see if we can find another game going.
On to the next one. We have Peru versus Spain. Definitely 2 of the top sailors. Spain are at the moment the reigning world champions, just for everyone to know. I'm extremely happy for them, but let's see if they can manage to keep on the podium this year.
Yeah, and I'm now back in the studio when Peter has finished watching the Swedish fight, because most of our guys working here are Swedish, so we really want to see
Bit
the
of
Swedish
bias,
fight.
no? Here for
Yeah.
Sweden and Spain. Let's see how Spain plays around with versus Peru.
Yeah, and this looks like it's going to be a really interesting fight here at downwind mark.
3-3-6-5 going for a mark trap there against 3-6-4, 3-7-9. Also deciding to stop. It's definitely a tight match,
Yeah.
so that's for sure.
And it's very interesting now because the right Spanish boat 3365 is outside the zone, so can no longer round with mark room, and it looks like we're going to have another chaotic rounding. It's not easy for the umpires to see everything.
Lots of stuff happening. We have this bird view and it's hard for us, but looks like we're going to see a flag. The umpire just getting close. Let's see what they do. Okay, no, we saw Spain just take penalty, so that means that there won't be a flag coming up. And at the moment, are we missing any boats in screen, Ton?
We are probably missing one. No, we're not. There's
We're
only
missing
one
the
on
one
the
that's
right side,
taking
but we saw
penalty, right?
everyone just a moment ago. So that means Peru is now going to run first and second because Spain decided to go all out on the third boat, which is not a bad strategy. The problem is that Peru now has an advantage going into the last mark rounding, and because it's the last one, it's more important than the rest. We will see Peru not having enough time to actually lay a mark trap, so they're just going to round and try to push everything together. Spain has control of the mark for the moment. Looks like they're gonna. Oh, we will see. There's a penalty here for. We're not sure which boat it's gonna be, but for sure one boat will have to spin here.
And looks like it's Peru, right? Peru taking penalty.
I think even got a flag, not just taking a penalty. We'll see.
So that will be 2 turns for Peru there.
So Spain has a small advantage, but far from over. They're still first and second, and if they can just help the third boat finish in front
Spain's
of one
Marta
other boat.
Mancita, I believe, just protesting there. Or was it, who is it? Yeah, Marta Mancito just lifted her hand for protest, asking for umpire decision. Let's see what the umpires believe. It's definitely a tight one. Both teams are looking very in sync with each other,
Yeah,
and they are not going to let one single mistake pass by.
Peru going into survival mode now, calling down their first and second sailors to help. This is
3-5-7-0 just stacking on top of Peru. We are seeing lots of tags here. 2 versus 2 on the right side, and then 2 more coming from the right side of the course. It's tight. It's tight in here. We're seeing lots of barroways, lots of stopping the boat, lots of tags, lots of maneuvers happening. Kids, and remember that whilst we are doing this from the studio, the kids have to also be doing those maneuvers well, and they have to also be counting the points. Remember about that magical 18.
Yeah, I think at this point they are not actually looking at the points anymore. They just try to win against boats nearby, and then when they get a little bit of breathing room, they will try to get an overview of the whole race course. It's also very common that you have 1 or 2 boats that act as captains and control the teams and just tell the teammates what to do if they need to finish or not. And there we have a penalty for Spain.
Just taking turn. He saw that he slowed the boat too much.
Even so, it's not sure that
What will be
Peru
happening, right?
379 is even gonna finish first because there are some other Spanish boats
There are
here.
more problems in the course.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks actually like it's gonna be fine, but 379 is forced to finish.
And we looks like Spain is going to be taking 2-3-4, right,
Yeah,
Ton?
yes, and that means Spain's gonna win this fight, but it was very close.
Yes, definitely a close match here.
We can see
Good job,
Spain
Spain. Vamos,
finishing last,
España.
but it doesn't really matter. They already won.
Now we're getting this panoramic shot a bit far away. Look how close we are to shore.
Yeah, and that seems to be the last race of the day. We can't see any other races going on.
So yeah, that looks like the last race of the day. Thanks to everyone for joining. Let's just follow the kids back to shore.
So right now we're a little bit uncertain where this will take us tomorrow because they still will have to do a little bit more of the qualifying rounds, but we might see some changes in the program for tomorrow. But stay tuned to the homepage to update yourself. There will be some sort of a publication on the results later as well. Yeah, but a fantastic. Tail end of the day where we saw some sailing at least, even though we had to wait a bit. I think the matches were fair and good once the wind came, right, guys?
Yes, definitely. Even since the start, we've seen very tight matches decided even in the finishing line. So the level is really high. Great job by all the teams performing and especially being able to stay concentrated with this light wind that we've had a very, very long waiting time. So congrats to all the sailors.
bending to fate. This is how legends are made.
Hello from Portorož, from the World Championship venue 2025. We are here with our beautiful